Could you survive being Batman for just 1 week? The training, the injuries, the sleep deprivation, the constant stress. I mean, Arkham Batman specifically is basically a science experiment in overclocking the human body, well past its limits. So let's break down Batman's daily routine and see if your body, your brain, could actually handle it. Starting off with the training load. You see, Batman isn't just strong, he's elite powerlifter strong. Batman's not just fast, he's Olympic level endurance fast. And on top of that, a gymnast, a fighter, and a rooftop parkour athlete. And the only trouble that someone would really run into if they wanted to train all of these skills is time. Because if you decided to suddenly do all of these things at once, especially if you've never done all of them before, you would run into a lovely sports science term called the interference effect. If you try to lift heavy and then run marathons and do parkour and train martial arts all at the same time, your body basically gets confused about what to adapt to. Your different neurons, your different circuitry will fight for the same synapses when you sleep. Because when you sleep, you only have so much time to consolidate whatever skills you did during the day. And the more similar those skills are in nature, the more they will fight to be wired into the same synapses and circuitry. Meaning you have to take on each skill one at a time. And not to mention, you'd have to take all of these to elite levels. Because deadlifting 500 plus pounds does put you in elite powerlifter territory, and having a VO2 max above 60 puts you in elite marathoner territory. And as Batman, you need both to do the job. And unfortunately, if you don't spread your training out, science says your nervous system would fry under that load. And heck, even once you're trained, most professional athletes, professional fighters, need months off between competitions where they let it all loose. But Batman, he does this on a nightly basis. And just the problem is that by day 3, your body might just quit. Your joints would ache, your reaction time would be incredibly slow, and you would be moving like a broken NPC, which is not a good combination if you want to be out in the wilds of Gotham fighting villains. But here's the wild part. Your nervous system is insanely adaptable. Every time you stress your body with new training, you're not just building muscle, you're building neural pathways that make you more efficient. And do this long enough, these changes can become permanent and automatic. That's why elite fighters or gymnasts can do things that seem superhuman. It's not magic, it's the brain rewiring itself to handle more. So while you wouldn't hit Batman's level in a week, you can absolutely train your system to handle way more than you think. Now let's get into the sleep. You see, Batman generally fights crime between 10 and 4 a.m. Then he's at Wayne Enterprises by 9 a.m. Meaning that in his prime years, he gets about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Science shows that one night under 5 hours wrecks your reaction time. And what happens after a week of this? Well, your brain performs like it's legally drunk, and you're a diabetic. However, there is a couple loopholes. One of them is about 1% of people carry the short sleep gene, DEC2, meaning they can survive on 4 to 6 hours a night. And if you need any more, well then perhaps you could attempt to master Batman's micro sleep routine, a very dangerous routine that we've gone over in a previous video. Because if you don't, you would very likely just fall asleep at random, you would forget which gadgets are in what part of your utility belt, you would suck at driving, and things generally could get to be very bad. But now the injury and recovery. Here's where it gets to be a lot harder. And speaking of harder, imagine having a full design team available 24/7 that never gets tired, never gets frustrated. That's exactly what today's sponsor, LoveArt, is. The world's first design agent. LoveArt isn't just another AI image generator. LoveArt brings together the best models for images, videos, and even 3D all in one place. You get complete creative control with tools like layers, masks, and editable text, just like Photoshop, but with the speed of AI. Creating a set of content that that used to take days or cost a fortune, believe me, I know, now it's done in minutes. And whether you're a professional designer or just starting out, you can collaborate with AI in real time to bring your vision to life. Just type the prompt, LoveArt turns it into a full 2-person podcast video. No camera, no actors needed. LoveArt now has over 1 million users in 70 plus countries, and it's easy to see why. LoveArt feels like a design studio, but one that never closes. So if you want a design partner that makes you faster and more creative, try LoveArt free at loveart.com. Or check out this personal link that is down in the description. You see, as Batman, sprains take weeks to heal, broken bones 6 weeks minimum, ligament tears 6 to 9 months. And if we look at Batman's past, even with all of his armor on, Batman takes bullet fire, shotgun blasts, and yet he somehow sleeps it off and wakes up fine. And the problem with having bruises and broken ribs is eventually, in the week, your body would just shut down. Chronic stress spikes cortisol, which slows healing, wrecks your immune system, and tanks decision making. And yet, this is where the Batman lesson flips. Because pain and failure are what actually teach the nervous system to adapt. Because you see, every stumble, every rep, every night you push yourself past your limits, this also rewires your system. I mean, you will not get Batman's durability in 7 days, but there are things that you could do to push past your limits, get your body used to pain, drastically increase your pain tolerance, and you know, if you had the proper training, you could possibly stand being back out every night like Batman does. Because he's not out every night of the week, he only goes out when he needs to. And the one thing is, Batman's biggest problem and your biggest problem isn't physical, it's mental. It is the mental workload that we would have to do. Because you see, Bruce Wayne speaks over 20 languages. He has mastered criminology, engineering, 127 martial arts styles, and the sheer amount of iterations and practice time that his nervous system has to go through to become decent at all these skills, chemistry, boxing, mechanics stuff. If we multiply the sheer amount of iterations across his dozens of skills, suddenly one lifetime feels way too short. The only way it works is if Bruce is the definition of discipline, the incarnation. Because here, every rep, every lesson, every moment counts. But the crazy thing is that science says your brain actually gets better at learning the more you learn. You see, the more you push yourself, the greater your focus, the greater your brain's ability to continually change areas of it gets faster. Meaning that if you learn one new language, your ability to learn a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth gets faster and faster because those areas of your brain that are associated with learning those skills get better at learning. They are constantly primed to learn and change themselves and grow whatever skill you're learning into themselves. And this goes for martial art movements, language, the sciences, anything you can think of. So stacking skills like Batman that you would then have to use on a nightly basis, well, you could do it. However, if you don't have all of these skills, being Batman for a week means that you are going to have to suddenly figure out how to use chemistry to figure out what the heck Scarecrow's up to, how to use a grapple gun, how to fly with his cape, how to fight criminals with martial arts, how to use all of his gadgets, how to drive his superpowered fast as heck car. There's many multiples of skill sets stacked on top of each other that you would have to be decent at just to be Batman for a week. So could you survive a week as Batman? Well, physically, if you're not trained for the job, you might not be here by Wednesday. And mentally, we would probably just end up sitting around in the Batcave wondering what the heck all of this stuff that he has is for and how to use it. And between the lack of sleep, the constant stress, and the pounding your body would take, here's the twist. Batman's real superpower isn't his gadgets, it isn't even his strength. It's his discipline, his focus, his ability to keep learning, adapting, and showing up no matter what. The real takeaway is this: you don't need Bruce Wayne's money or tech to steal his best advantage. his belief that the human brain and body can adapt to anything. And he's not wrong. Your nervous system is designed to upgrade. The more you challenge it, the stronger and faster it rewires and learns. That's not fantasy, like talent. That's just biology. So while we couldn't just will our way into being Batman for a week, cause this certainly isn't a job we just want to full send into and see what happens. But if you had his training, if you dare to treat your nervous system like the most powerful weapon you own, you'd be shocked at what you can learn. But if none of this was very interesting, then I saved one interesting fact for last. Batman is shown to have the world's greatest grip strength, as he has been shown to rip off the door of an airplane while on the outside, with us going over Batman's insane strength in this video. See you in the next one.